So again, I got 6 points. I'll dive into the first one now. The first one's the fact that there's a lot of material in this movie for analysis of archetypes, Jungian archetypes, as well as the shadow. So if you're into that, you're going to like this movie. And there's so much more to be said about that we could take up a 3 or 4 hour course. In fact, I've made a multiple hour course, like 8-hour course called Core, and then a 45 hour, really in-depth 11-week course called Rock Solid Relationships and Masculine Mastery. It's 2 courses in one, that one. And in both of those courses, all of those courses that I just mentioned, we go into the shadow and the archetypes. And I actually help lead you through a process, guide you step by step through a meditative process that just from the comfort of the room you're sitting in, you are able to access in yourself the fundamental masculine archetypes. I wouldn't even call them masculine, but like dudes like to hear the word masculine. They're like, yeah, I need that. But women can use this just as strongly because these are archetypes in all human beings. They are the sovereign, or also called the king or the goddess or whatever, the sovereign, the lover, the magician, the warrior. And all of these archetypes have shadow aspects to them, these immature aspects. The shadow, in the Jungian classical sense, is a repressed part of you in your unconscious. So often, this is considered to be a dark part of you, but it's not necessarily that way. It could also be a childlike part of you that holds the qualities of play and spontaneity and so on that maybe you're missing if you've been repressing that too much and it's repressed and in your unconscious. And that's considered a shadow, right? So in the Joker movie, clearly you'll see that his persona of Arthur Fleck, and the persona, by the way, is a Jungian term, and it's what that mask that we present to the outer world. So it's the outer part of us that we use to represent us. It's like a skin in a game, right? It's like that's the part of us that everyone else sees, and that's the part of us that we try to use to get along in life. And when that part crumbles, when the persona crumbles, there's that point in which the unconscious parts will come out. And there's going to be like some war in there. There are going to be unconscious parts of us that want to do good and so on. And then there are parts of us that might give in to some kind of darkness or some severe darkness. In the case of the Joker, the dark shadow took over, and in a really dramatic way. You can also see this in the Star Wars movies with the change from Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader. So you see that the persona crumbles, the outer mask crumbles over time, and then the shadow comes out. So this is an example of the shadow taking over. This is directly related, by the way, the shadow, the archetypes, the persona, all that, to the political controversy on the left and the right around this movie. So I'll be getting to that again towards the end. But it's interesting to see that the persona that this front's facing is often useful and good in people, and personas are fine. There's actually, everybody has a persona. It's not whether you have a persona, it's whether your persona is effective in getting you what you want in life, and then whether you're aware that that's a persona and it's not all of you. It doesn't represent the whole of you, and it's not your true self either. Your persona is simply the part of you that you use to represent at the surface level, when you do a job interview, for most jobs, or when you're first meeting people or something like that, right? It's just like, small talk kind of persona and whatever you are at work. And for most people, that's all that they think that their personality is. And for many people, the reason why therapy only comes on later in life, if at all, is because the persona that they've been relying on for most of their lives is working okay. So this is very common among achievers. They have an achiever persona. They're very invested in that persona, that they're making a lot of or enough money, that they look good, they look presentable and all that, right? And of course, in the world of dating for men, there's the persona that you're trying to present to women at the bars or the clubs or whatever. And for a lot of nice guys or, like the lovable nerds or whatever, their persona sucks for that purpose, for getting women or attracting women. Or for people who are not successful professionally or in their career, like the Joker character here, their persona is maladaptive in the professional context, right? And in this case of the Joker, Arthur Fleck in this movie, his persona is not effective anywhere. It's not effective in any area of his life. So it's just a matter of time before that crumbles, and then some parts of his shadow will try to take over. And as you see, a very dark part of his shadow takes over.